For so many autistic adults, the word support has often come with this hidden message, a message that you need to change who you are. But what if there's a totally different way to think about it? Today, we're going to dive into this really powerful shift in thinking, moving away from correcting people and moving towards helping them regulate.
Yeah, that phrase, it really hits at the heart of this painful, unspoken rule, doesn't it? It's that constant, exhausting pressure to mask, to hide your true self and kind of sand down your edges just to fit into a world that, frankly, wasn't built with you in mind.
But just imagine for a second, a totally different kind of space. A space that isn't designed to fix anyone, but to understand. A place where you can actually figure out what you need without any judgment. That's the huge possibility we're getting into today.
Okay, so to really get why this new approach is so revolutionary, we've got to look at the baggage that a lot of autistic adults are carrying. It's a history that's just steeped in misunderstanding.
Just think about what that does to a person over years, or even decades. You're constantly being told your natural reactions are wrong or weird. You learn to put on a performance of yourself just to survive the day. And this isn't just about feeling awkward at parties. It has this deep, profound impact on your inner world.
And right, this is the really crucial point. When you spend your entire life pushing down your own nervous system signals, you end up with burnout, chronic anxiety, and this huge disconnect from your own body. You get to a point where it's hard to even know what you actually need anymore.
So, how do we start to fix this? Well, the answer begins with a really fundamental reframe. It's all about changing the goal. We're moving away from demanding compliance and instead shifting our focus to supporting regulation.
So what exactly is regulation? Well, it's not about someone else controlling you. Not at all. It's about you tuning into yourself. It's the simple but incredibly powerful act of asking, hey, what does my body need right now to feel okay? And then actually listening to the answer. And this really shows two completely different worlds. It's like night and day. The old compliance model sees a behavior and the first question is, how do we make that stop? But the regulation model? It sees the exact same behavior and asks, wait a minute, what is this behavior trying to tell us? What's the unmet need here? See the difference? One is about suppression, the other is all about understanding.
Okay, so to put this whole regulation idea into practice, it really helps to have a map of what's going on inside. And that's where something called polyvagal theory comes in. It's this amazing framework that gives us the words to describe what's happening in our nervous system and, why we feel the way we do. All right, first up, we've got the ventral vagal state. You can think of this as your home base, your safe and social zone. This is when you're feeling calm, you're present, and you're open to connecting with people. It's kind of our sweet spot for feeling good and ready for whatever the day brings.
Then there's the fight or flight response. This is called the sympathetic state. This is your body's alarm system just blaring. You feel that rush of energy, right? It could feel like anxiety or restlessness or just pure overwhelm. Your body is getting you ready to deal with some kind of threat. And last, there's the dorsal vagal state. This is basically a shutdown mode. When fight or flight isn't an option, the body hits the brakes and conserves energy by kind of numbing out. On the outside, this might look like total exhaustion or being disconnected. And here's the most important thing to remember. These shifts between states, they're not choices. They are automatic, biological reactions to feeling unsafe.
You see, just understanding these states can change the entire conversation. So instead of saying something like, you need to calm down, which, let's be real, almost never works and feels awful, we can get curious. We can start asking questions that actually build self-awareness and trust. We're moving from giving orders to offering real collaborative support.
Now, doing this internal work on your own is powerful, for sure. But it becomes truly transformative when you do it in a community of people who just get it, A genuinely safe space is so much more than just four walls and a roof. It's a shared understanding.
So what really makes a space feel safe? Well, it's things like having a shared language to talk about what you're going through. It's that subtle but amazing power of co-regulation, where just being around calm, accepting people can help your own nervous system settle down. And maybe most importantly, it's having autonomy, the absolute freedom to say pass on an activity or to take a break or even leave without having to explain yourself to anyone.
Okay, so this isn't just a bunch of abstract theory. The whole point is to give people real, practical tools they can actually use in their day-to-day lives to support themselves and feel better.
And what's really cool is this approach doesn't just toss out proven methods like CBT or mindfulness. It adapts them. So cognitive behavioral therapy is used to validate how you feel, not to tell you your feelings are wrong. And mindfulness, it stops being about forcing yourself to sit perfectly still with a blank mind, which is impossible for so many of us, and becomes about sensory grounding and movement.
And all of this comes together to build your own personalized toolkit. We're talking about simple but game-changing habits, like doing a daily check-in to see where your nervous system is at, or creating a sensory kit with stuff like noise-canceling headphones and fidgets that help you feel grounded. But it also includes these really empowering rules, like the no-fixing rule, where the goal is support, not a quick solution, and the absolute right to leave any situation that's too much, no explanation needed, period.
So when you make this one fundamental shift, when you go from trying to correct someone to simply respecting their internal experience, everything changes. It stops being a top-down power dynamic and becomes a real partnership.
And the results? They're huge. People start to trust their own instincts and body signals again. That endless cycle of burnout finally starts to break. And maybe for the first time ever, real, authentic connection, both with yourself and with other people, starts to feel like something that's not just possible, but actually natural.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one core message. You shouldn't have to change who you are just to belong. Real support shouldn't ask you to cut away pieces of yourself to fit in. So I want to leave you with this thought. Yeah, this model is focused on autistic adults, but the idea behind it is totally universal. Just think about it. What could we build in our jobs, in our families, in our communities, if all our attempts to support each other started not with a plan to change someone, but with a simple foundation of deep, genuine respect?